yeah, we're live. We're back. Welcome back to the Point Three Podcast. Your favorite trio of hosts. I'm back at it again today. Oh, we're so excited. But today we're diving headfirst into the Thunderbolts, aka drumroll. The asterisks revealed it. The Marvel, the MCU's boldest, grittiest, and honestly, probably the darkest team up yet. We're going to be talking about all that. Listen, as the last MCU Phase 5 film, we get Bucky, Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, Red Guardian, and Bob thrown into a mission, covert ops, soul searching. We get Valentina Allegra DeFontaine. Make sure you know it's DeFontaine. Pulling the strings. She is the antagonist of the film. Listen, y'all. Wild action, emotional weight, MCU tie-ins and twists. Y'all, if you didn't see it, what are you doing? But for those of us who did see it, let's break it all down. Hero Scroll, take us away.
Yeah, giving some quick overall thoughts for those that want to hear it and want to hear like our very quick non-spoiler thoughts, because again, this will be very quick. Very, very good movie. I said it when we left the theater in our social media post, so if you haven't, definitely make sure you check us out over on our socials and follow us here because we post all that fantastic stuff for you to see early. But I still stand by what I said, that this is the most satisfied I have ever left out of a Marvel film. Point blank, period.
Wow.
I had high expectations based on early reviews that people were coming out with. I had astronomical expectations for one character, and that was Bob Reynolds, Sentry. And those expectations were exceeded. I cannot say that about any other MCU film. I can't.
Sir.
And to be honest, when we get into kind of the performances for all of these characters, but especially like Bob and Void and Sentry, the comparisons to the performance start coming out of the MCU and into other things. So yeah, overall, great feel. 9.5 out of 10. The only reason I don't say 10 out of 10 is because I do want to see it again to see if anything feels bad for me. But based on genuinely, I've thought about it all week. I cannot find anything to complain about with this movie. I really can't. Everything made sense. Every story beat had a purpose. Every character had a purpose. Every moment had a purpose. Every line of dialogue fed into something, either in the moment, in the past, or in the future of the movie, and it paid off very well. One of the best post-credit scenes that we've had in, 6-7 years, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. Fantastic movie. SB, what about you?
Wow. I gave it a 9.9 as my instant reaction. Throughout the entire movie, I was calling it like a 10, and then I gave it a 9.9 for one specific reason, and we'll definitely chime into that later, because throughout our history, we've had very many theories about what the star meant and the origin of it. So I'm knocking it down to 0.1 just out of pitifulness. But I'm happy that we got the movie that we got, and the name for it cooked. I can't lie. It ended up working out much better than I thought. And Sentry, phenomenal, just like Hero was saying, from reading his comics recently. And I just thought they translated it so well onto the screen, and just for film adaptation, I can't talk. And Yelena, I can't say much more than I have already on socials about her. She was great. The movie was just amazing. I can't say it's the most satisfied I felt, because there was No Way Home and Spider-Man, obviously. It's just so much to me. So that, I don't think anything is ever going to top that movie for me, but this came close. And it's very right behind No Way Home for post, like, Endgame rankings. Lou, what about you?
Listen, y'all. the journey of this movie and knowing it was coming out, it was one that really sticks with me. And this movie shook me in a way that I think to Hero's point, and even what you're saying, Spider Brand, of like our expectations ramped up very quickly. We were kind of peeking around the corner and being like, this might be something, but like the state of the MCU and the sins of the MCU were really weighing heavily on like really buying into a movie and just like jumping into it. And I think we shook off the dirt a little bit with Brave New World, and we're like, okay. And then Born Again came out, and we're like, okay. And then you get this movie, and they hit you with trailers that sold you on the theme and the feel of the movie. It just oozed darkness and redemption and character development and just intrigue and interest. And it was like, I like this. Like, if the movie is anything like the trailers, I think we're in for a good time, y'all. And then it comes out like predictions and box office. Shout out Spider Brando for nailing that again. But like you had a wide range. Yeah, box office Brando, I had it again. But you had like, you saw the 70 million projection kind of come out, and you're like, huh? Like, what does Vegas know that we don't know right now? Like, what's going on here? And then the pre-screenings came out, and then you're hearing more positive momentum. But it was to the point where like we guessed things that were going to happen in this movie that were supposed to be a secret from one of the biggest conventions in the world. And then we heard what, the internet was saying, and like release in France and China came out, and you're getting visuals, and you're seeing these like just super like tchotchke looking videos of characters that you really want to see. And like you're exposed to these things, and typically that's a downer for a movie, but it didn't affect this movie at all. And we've been talking about it for the last 5-6 days. People are like, oh, you showed me Sentry's suit. Spoiler. And it's like, go see the movie. You're not even close. Like, you're not even in the realm of being spoiled. Yeah. And we did so much prep for this, especially with Sentry, and fell in love with 25 years essentially of Sentry history and over exceeded expectations. I can't think of a movie in recent times, MCU wise, to where that's happened, to where I'm like, this might have 8.5, 9. If it's crazy and goes out of control, 9.5 potential. And they were like, we see your 9.5, and like, we're going to have you questioning at 10. That's crazy. It's crazy. And now we're at the point, and we're going to reveal it. So shout out to all y'all that participated on our TikTok, but we're going to reveal where this kind of stands in our all-time MCU rankings. Where is it? Is it in the bottom third? Is it in the middle third? Is it in the top? So many people are aligned on this movie, and it just feels like it was a game changer. And that's very hard to do. And some of our top 2-3 movies in the MCU, that's what they are. They are game changers. And that's exactly what this did.
And it's crazy because, to kind of both your Lou and Dill's point in the chat, that literally a year ago we were so low on this movie. And I think from the beginning, the announcement of the cast, we were down on it. When everybody saw that Taskmaster, Ghost, Bucky, Elena, Red Guardian were coming, John Walker, we were kind of like, what? Those are the characters that you're going with instead of Abomination and all these Zemo, all these other characters that in our minds made a lot more sense. And you could still probably use them if you wanted to in another version of this movie. But with what they gave us, where they made us believe in these characters now, it's so crazy. And genuinely, this is the only MCU project that I think, out of everything that has been done in phase 4 and phase 5, is the only one that escapes the overall sins of the MCU. No project has been able to really come unscathed with that, where people are like, well, but what about the connections to the past? What about the connections to the future? What about XYZ? This movie gave you all of it. And Lou, to your point again, this was with spoilers out. Full transparency, the post-credit scene for me got spoiled before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was posted, it got spoiled very quick. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting post-credit. I wasn't too high on it. But then I come out the movie and I'm like, holy crap, that is genuinely genius. The way that they were able to come in from, both out of the spoilers and out of the film, it's crazy. We'll definitely talk about it later, but yeah. And another thing, the themes, how this movie managed to make every character in here feel human to you, especially with the themes of them battling loneliness, depression, anxiety. I think something that everybody in the world has been able to, or has been dealing with in some form since the pandemic. And I think this is the first like big superhero film to address it properly.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk about these themes in much more detail coming, but props to them for taking that risk with the film, and clearly it's paying dividends.
Dude, and I do want to give flowers to Jake Schreier, because when we did our preview, we kind of looked at the credentials that the director of the movie had, and we're like, we saw The Bear, and we went through and we're like, oh, like, not a lot of people are talking about this. And I think one thing that this movie did really well is kind of the opposite side of the coin, like Deadpool and Wolverine, to where it understood the state of the MCU and really used that to like poke fun at the MCU for like jokes and haha. But this movie, I feel like, took itself seriously. I feel like it took the audience seriously, and it took the people who were sitting in the audience and the actors and the characters of the MCU seriously, to say, like, based on what we're delivering with these themes of the characters, we know that they're down. Like, literally, if you think about that, most of the projects that they came from are not highly rated projects in a consensus area across the board. Black Widow is not looked upon as a great movie. Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not viewed as one of the top Disney Plus shows. Yelena's appearance in Hawkeye wasn't necessarily the biggest highlight, but like, there were a lot of things. So it's just so cool that you see the theme of redemption not only being portrayed in this movie, but also to the fans of the characters that they decided to bring back and say, hey, we're going to roll with these 6 to 7 characters. And everyone's like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what is a group of super soldiers and blah, 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 blah going to do against Sentry and the Void? It's like, okay. And they're like, it's just going to win with the power of friendship. And it's like, okay, just watch the movie. And more people are just like, nah, that didn't matter. Like, it was a non-factor. And I think that's extremely powerful, that a movie can overcome the amount of negativity, oddly enough, that people walked into the movie with. And guys, I'm just saying, the fact that this movie is being considered as one of the 4, if not 5, best movies since Endgame, that screams volumes. Not speaks volumes, screams volumes.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. To me personally, it is the best MCU overall film since Endgame, bar none. I'm sorry, No Way Home. This isn't even like, yeah, bar none. I'm not even low diff. We're talking, if we're gonna go, if we have to use our one obligatory Marvel Rivals reference, I'm gonna use it now. I'm cashing it in. Thunderbolts is in Celestial ranked currently. Ooh. Everything else that were all these other films, gold 3.
Damn, just made it.
Barely able to get that free extra skin.
Dude, SB, what you say? What you say to that?
I have my Spider-Man bias, so nothing is touching that pocket dimension of its own. But I think, if bias aside, it's up there. It's definitely like right behind No Way Home, even without the bias. That movie was just perfect to me. Even I can't say without the bias, because it's there no matter what. What am I saying? I think it's definitely. I'm looking at my rankings now, and I would definitely put it in the top 5, 100%. Probably right behind No Way Home, Infinity War, and Thunderbolts at 3.
And even with that, though, when you look at like the movie's doing what the movie's doing and competing with other movies in the MCU that have an established fan base, whether that be you've invested so much time watching MCU movies that you're like, well, yeah, this is a really great movie because it paid off 10 plus years of me spending my time like months of my time dedicated to watching MCU films and then going through and being like, you have fan favorites. You get your Iron Man, your Captain America, your MCU greats, and then you have your Spider-Man that they're like, we with tons of Spider-Man fans in our Discord, but still, like, I'll die for Spider-Man type of thing. You got people saying that for Bob now. You have people being like, Bob, I'll do wild things. What do I need to do to get you back in the next movie beyond Doomsday? Like, they created organically, probably one of the most organic creations. Again, taking a team of ragtag nothings that everyone's like, I didn't ask for a majority of these characters, and then making them something. It is the closest thing that we've gotten since Guardians, but it's different. It's different than Guardians. I don't know of another group in the MCU that's grounded like they are that will make you care for them in the way that you did when you did not want to care for any of those characters before. And people didn't. There's a running tally of like almost like Deadpool and being like, who's going to die first? Like, the fact that you're thinking like all these characters are going to die and you're okay with it, that to me is like, well, we don't care. We just want to see the violence. But they didn't. So again, for me, this is competing with a third Avengers movie and a third Guardians movie and a second Black Panther movie and a pseudo team up movie full of other heroes that we've grown to love for 6, 7, 8 years. That's insane. I never in a gajillion years thought that I would be sitting here today, a week after being like, it could be good, to be like, it's great.
I don't know, man. The Cinderella tale of this movie has, I think, also might add for it the personal journeys that I think, honestly, collectively as fans, we all had. I don't think there's a single, no one will ever be able to convince me, and if they tell you otherwise, they're a liar. No one was high on this movie. Nobody was like, I'm so excited for the Thunderbolts. No, nobody was. Nobody was.
The Thunderbolts fans out there.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I've been seeing a lot of people saying how they've been hyped for it since day one, and I'm like, yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe
that. No.
But
you could have been excited because, again, this is one that kind of piqued our interest. We just didn't have a lot of faith. But what this has done is reestablish, I think, a huge chunk of faith in the MCU. And a lot of that centers around the characters, how they were used, and honestly, the way that it was filmed. And they just did things in this movie that you typically expect. Spoiler, I'm going to say that this is my best example. The whole team saving people from falling rubble, and they're finally embracing that new Avengers, saving other people. There's a purpose. I'm actually going to do something for someone else type of thing and not be so selfish and self-centered. However, when Red Guardian was standing in front of that little girl and the Void could have absolutely shadow smashed one of the heroes, he's like, no. And there was an audible gasp in the theater, and hands went off of laps to mouths. That was a moment I was like, oh, bro. Like, what?
I was shook. I was like, damn, there's no way they just freaking did that. My entire theater gasped.
The surprise. Go ahead.
I was just adding it. I definitely gasped too.
Yeah. No, the surprise that it had. Again, every action that these characters take, very purposeful. A character that I have seen a couple more people talk about, but I definitely want to shout out to John Walker. I know not everybody loves his final design at the end. I think it's fine enough. However, and it just shows the power of what this film was able to do, where you take a character like John Walker that was genuinely very hated. And the funny thing is too that, and we kind of forget about it, but Captain America and the Winter Soldier, sorry, had to take an inside joke. I was trying to hold in the laugh.
It's two.
Yeah, it's two of them. Let's see how many we can get in. It really showed you his story already. So like it showed you how tragic of a character he was already. but for this film to be able to drive it home and for you to almost be able to like him a little bit is a testimony to the film.
Yeah. I mean, I think with that, I mean, do we want to get into it?
I think so.
Get a little deeper into it. Yeah.
Official spoiler warning in case you haven't. If you, I think at this point we're gonna just go into it. So
Yeah.